Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alstrom Syndrome UK Off the Record podcast. And welcome, everyone, today. This is our next session. Today, I'm joined by Sarah, who's one of our care coordinators. And if you're new to Alstrom, then I'll tell you a little bit about our charity. So our charity is called Alstrom Syndrome UK, and we're a small but mighty charity in the UK supporting families. And if you haven't heard of Alstrom syndrome, we're an ultra rare genetic condition that affects all the organs in the body, including hearing and sight. So I'm joined by the fabulous Sarah today, who's our care coordinator, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about the services she provides at Alstrom Syndrome UK and a little bit about her role. Over to you, Sarah.
Hi everybody, I'm Sarah. I'm one of the care coordinators at Alstrom Syndrome UK. I work with my colleague Claire, who you'll probably be hearing from in another of these lovely podcasts. We support people to attend specialist clinics in Birmingham at the Children's Hospital and at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. So we arrange for people to come along, we support them while they attend the appointments. Hopefully we get some time to chat to them, and then we will follow up with any support needs that they might identify to us. We're also available during the week for anyone to call up and have a chat with us. It doesn't have to be about anything in particular. We're there just for a listening ear, but we're also there to support with anything from education, benefits, employment, social care, grants, anything you might have a question about. And hopefully, if we don't know the answer or one of our colleagues aren't able to help you, then we will try and put you in touch with another organisation that can.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Sarah. And what inspired you to pursue your current profession?
Well, when I was at university, I actually set off training to be a science teacher at secondary school. And right up until I think I was in my last teaching placement, I was still intending to do that. And for some reason, I don't think I particularly enjoyed my last teaching placement. I just had a change of heart, and although I wanted to still do something that was sort of in the people management or working with people, shall I say, I didn't know if working in a school was for me. And so, like we all do when we leave university, you're desperate for a job, you need the money. And now I'm going to show my age. At that time, you got out the newspapers and you sat there with your bingo marker and you circled round jobs, and then you got onto your giant computer and you sent off applications. And I think at that time I had over about 6 months. I had quite a few job interviews whilst working in a factory that made toilet seats and coat hangers.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what you do when you need the money. So,
yes.
And from that, I happened to get a job at the charity Sense. I started there working in a care home or supported living home as a support worker. And that led to 22 years working for the charity Sense, who support people with vision and hearing loss. I had quite a variety of roles, but for the last 10 years I worked for the charity. I worked in sort of the information and advice area. And one of the things that I did was I did Specialist Care Act assessments that were commissioned by local authorities. And it was through that work that I got to meet Kerry, our chief executive. I think that was in about 2010. And that was when I met my first family, who had a young person with Alstrom syndrome. And from that time on, I met a number of different people who are supported by ASUK. So when I was made redundant during the pandemic, a couple of years later, it was fantastic to get the job at ASUK, because working with people with vision and hearing loss, it's quite a sort of unique part, if you like, a unique job. And so it was lovely to be able to start to use those skills again. So that's how I come to be working at ASUK now, and I've been here for a very enjoyable 3 years.
Fabulous. What a lovely journey to hear about. And can you tell me a little bit more about the specialist care assessment that you talk about?
Yeah, so in social care law, there is a special legislation that means anyone with a dual sensory loss, so that's a vision and hearing loss, is entitled to have a specialist assessment. And so for adults, that would come under the social care care act assessment. Um, so it's the same assessment for anybody, but for those who have got vision and hearing loss, it needs to be carried out by somebody who's got a specific qualification, who understands those needs. So during my time at Sense, I actually completed the deaf-blind studies diploma, so that enabled me to carry out those assessments. And it's just taking into account all those particular needs that you might have when you have reduced access to information and would need more support with your mobility and living independently, and some of those quite unique challenges that you might have.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like you, through the work you've done, your experience and the knowledge you've gained through that diploma, you have a really good understanding of the sensory loss and those, as you say, those unique often challenges and complex needs that families and people affected with Alström syndrome have, which brings a lot to the charity and to our families affected. What's your favourite memory of your time with ASUK?
There's been lots of good memories, and there's some happy, some funny, some that are a bit sadder. And I'm sure this person won't mind me saying, but I remember at one of the clinics, I was going to meet somebody on the train to Birmingham, because we like to encourage people to come independently if that's what they want. So I'd arranged to meet somebody on a train in Lancaster, but where they travelled from, there were two routes that they could have gone on from where they lived to Birmingham. And when they got to the station, they had some passenger assistance booked, and they kept saying to the person when they were being assisted onto the train, "I'm sure, are we actually getting on the right train?" And they kept being told, "Yes, it's the train to Birmingham." And they kept saying, "But is it the right train? I don't think we're in the right part of the station." Anyway, when I got on the train in Lancaster, went to the carriage where we'd agreed we'd be meeting, the person wasn't there.
Oh, no.
There had been a problem that day with delayed trains. So I had to ring the person and say, "I'm on the train. Are you on the train?" We worked out that they'd actually put her on the other route to get to Birmingham. So there's like a West Coast and an East Coast route.
Mm-hmm.
We had a good laugh in the end, but
I bet.
fortunately we managed to meet in Birmingham. We went for some restoratory cheesecake to recover.
Yes, sounds like a very good way to recover.
Yes. So there are lots of funny and light-hearted moments.
I bet you've got lots of lovely memories to share.
Yeah.
And
I was gonna say it's wonderful to see people, as they grow up, and it is like a real privilege that people, include you in their life's journey. It's lovely.
yeah, no, definitely. And I think that's it. I think as you grow with the charity as such, you grow with the families as well and learn more about them and be part of their journey and part of their family, really, which is a real privilege to be part of. definitely. So I'd love to know a bit more about you, Sarah. So come on, tell me some of your favourite things that you like doing.
Well, I think I'm quite a boring person, really.
I bet you're not.
I am. Well, I suppose I'm quite busy away from work. I suppose I'm still quite busy being a mum. Um, Fortunately, though, I say this is my last year that I have to deal with schools. My youngest will leave school in September, so I won't have to do any more of that mum nagging about, have you got any homework? Have you done your homework? Are you going to be getting up for school? So I'm looking forward not to doing that anymore, even though you'd hope when they were nearly 18 that you wouldn't have to be doing that anymore. But
new challenges on the horizon.
New challenges on the horizon. I'll probably be nagging about getting a job
Different
and what
things.
are you doing next, yeah. So apart from that, I do like to read. I'm a bit of a avid telly fan, particularly things like detective dramas.
Oh, nice.
I like watching a good like Vera or Morse. At the moment I've been watching Unforgotten. So
Oh,
I
yes.
like quite a gritty drama that you can get
Yeah.
into. Yeah. So yeah. And similarly I like, good fiction books that you can really get into the story. But so I go between the two. Sometimes I'm more into the telly, sometimes I'm more into the reading. And then when I'm stressed, I do like to have a good cook in the kitchen. I don't
Oh.
know why I find cooking is quite therapeutic for me.
Oh, wow. You find it quite relaxing.
Yeah, I know some people don't, but I do like to cook.
What's your favourite dish?
Ooh, I do like baking. I do love to make a
Oh,
cake. And then my I call them kids, but they're probably not really kids anywhere anymore. They do like their spicy food, so
oh. So a good
we
curry.
yeah, good curry, chili, chicken wraps,
Nice.
anything spicy. Even in their pasta, they like chili pasta, tomato chili pasta, anything with a bit of spice.
Oh,
So
nice. So are you going to be the next sort of Bake Off champion then? Do you think?
I don't know. I don't know if I'd be.
Oh, that wasn't a
I,
no.
no, but no, I don't know. I don't. As you know, Catherine, I hate having my picture taken, and I hate being filmed. So perhaps not.
Perhaps not. No,
Perhaps I'll
actually,
stick to
yeah. As
pictures.
I
And
said it, I thought,
I have this rule as well. When you're spending 5 minutes throwing like a cake together, just because you might want something after tea or on a Sunday afternoon. It always comes out better than when you're making one of those birthday cakes for
yeah,
somebody or something. When you're trying to do a good job, it never comes out as good
yes,
as when you're whisking in one hand and stir
yeah.
frying in the other.
I tend to agree. Whenever the pressure's on and you need it to be as perfect as possible, and you're going to have a crowd that's going to look at it, taste it, it's never going to turn out as well as if you put it together in 5 minutes. And yeah, why is
Yeah.
that?
I don't know. I made a sponge cake on Sunday and it only 3 eggs in it, so not a massive one, but it when it was made up, it were about 10 centimeters high. If I tried to do that for
Wow.
somebody's birthday cake, honestly, I bet you it wouldn't look as good.
You would not be able to do that again.
And that was why I had roast potatoes and Yorkshire puddings in one oven, that in the other oven. But trust me, if I tried to do it at another time, it wouldn't come out that good.
You won't be able to
So that
replicate that ever
no.
again. That's a one-off. That's definitely a one-off. And is there anything you could share with us that people wouldn't know about you?
Ooh, oh, now you've got me. Can I think? What wouldn't people know about me?
Have you got any hidden talents that we wouldn't know?
No.
No.
Oh, I'm trying to think. Well, people might think I'm quite countrified now, but I grew up in inner city London, so
Oh.
an East Ender, but
Yeah.
nearly there.
Whereabouts?
Peckham, and everybody knows Peckham because as soon as you mention Peckham, everybody says Del Boy or Only Fools and Horses or the Trotters. And I don't think it were actually filmed in Peckham, to be honest. I think a lot of it, I might be wrong, but I think a lot of it was actually filmed in the Birmingham area or somewhere.
I'm not sure. I just assumed. Wow, I'm going to have to Google that now you said that.
I tell you what was filmed. I grew up in London in the 80s, so I tell you what was filmed at that time in London was Dempsey and Makepeace. It's been on iPlayer, ITV4 recently, and if you watch that, a lot of that was filmed in and around Peckham in the era that I grew up there. So
wow. And what was that like to grow up then? Is it anything like what we saw of Del Boy?
Not really. I don't think it's changed though. I don't think Peckham is like now, like it was then. No. I did find it strange though. When I first went off to university and I moved to Sheffield, I did find it strange that people used to talk to you a lot more, and like people would say, and people you didn't know, and at first I was like, ooh, why are they asking me that? Why are they talking to me?
Yeah.
And yet now where I live, that, not obviously it's quite a big town, but you still know quite a few people. So I think that's something that's different from living in a city. So, yeah.
No, fabulous. Well, thank you ever so much for joining me today, Sarah. It has been lovely to know a little bit more about the service that you provide and the support service for people affected with Ulstrom, but also finding out a little bit more about you. Lots of things that I didn't know. So I'm sure our families will love to hear all about that as well. And we are extremely proud of the support service that you and Claire provide for us. So thank you ever so much. And if you want to know a little bit more about the charity and the work that we do, find out our contact details and a bit more about our team, you can find it on our website, www.ulstrom.org.uk. There'll be lots more of the podcast as well on our website, so have a look on there, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye for now.